Colin, like, constipated face? Is that what we're in for? Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Charlotte and today we're going to talk about romance series. Yes, we're going to go through some of the series that I am in the middle of because there's no more books out yet. Or some of the ones I've finished because, you know, they're done. They've been out for a while. Might just have been late to the game. Might not have even joined the game. Who knows? But yeah, there's sports romances here. There's single dads. There's dark romance. There's dark romance adjacent with like morally grey men. So I don't know. It's a widespread for me at least. There's no romantasy, just so that one's put out there because I've only read 2 romantasies, so I don't really feel like I can say that much about them, but there's probably other people that have more to say about romantasies than I do. But yeah, we are going to start with the Maple Hill series by Hannah Grace. This involves Icebreaker, Wildfire, and Daydream. That is the reading order. So first, you know, Icebreaker, Wildfire, then Daydream. And I have a reading vlog out on all of these, so I'm not going to go too much into it, but this one is about Nate and about Anastasia. Yeah, her name is Anastasia, right? Anastasia and Nate. She's a figure skater, he is a hockey player. Something happens, one of their ice rinks get ruined, and now they have to share a rink. She's not very happy about it. He's actually very happy about it because he likes to look at pretty things. Catch my drift? Yeah. Yeah. This one is the spiciest one out of the 3 books. And I don't mean that in the sense that what they do is like way out there, you know, spice related, horizontally related, but it's just the one that has the most spice out of them. At least from what I can remember, this is the one with the most spice in it. It also has a few scenes that you might have seen people react to reading on TikTok. Personally, I don't know. One of the scenes I just went, that's very unhygienic, but that might be my age. That might be my age. Who knows? But yeah, spicy one. Then we have the next one, which is Wildfire. This is about Ross and Aurora. Ross plays hockey with Nate. Aurora does not do much. I really liked Aurora had a dad that was in Formula One, and that got me very excited. They hook up in like, I don't know, the first, second, third chapter, something like that, and then go their separate ways, but they are both counselors at summer camp. So this is set over summer. So, you know, you have Icebreaker that kind of ends when summer comes around. Then you have this one that goes over summer. This, I think, is my favorite one. And not just because Aurora's dad is in Formula One. I just thought the story was cute. I love that Ross was a little bit shy and that Aurora was outgoing. She was witty. You know, I don't know. I just like the dynamic. I really like that he was the one that, you know, didn't really know how to pursue the relationship. He might have been portrayed as a player, but he had no idea what he was doing, and I'm here for it. I was eating that shit up. I think he's my favorite. Like, if I had to choose a book boyfriend out of all of them, I think I would choose Ross, even with his complicated family history, which is also something you get into. Then you have the last book in this series, which is Daydream, and this one is about Henry and Hallie. This one is set kind of straight after the summer in a way, so they go kind of back to back. And this one I think a lot of people can resonate with because Henry represents someone that is neurospicy. That's not to say that if you see yourself in Henry, that you will automatically be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm neurospicy, there, I got diagnosed by a book. That's not what I mean, because you can have a lot of the neurospicy tendencies without actually being neurospicy. There's a lot more that goes into it, but he is, like the author has said, that he is on the neurospicy scale. And Hallie is, well, she's a romantic, but she hasn't really had a lot of the firsts, like the first good date, the first this, the first that. Henry decides to help her with her firsts, and Hallie decides to help him with the school stuff because she knows he's struggling and she can help. This is like a complete slow burn compared to the 2 ones, but I did really enjoy it. And even though they are hockey players, there's not much hockey talk, okay? There's not much of it, which I can appreciate because that means that I can follow along because I do not know hockey. Kind of wish I did though, but I don't know if I have room for another sport. I feel like Formula One has already taken up way too much of my life. But anywho, yeah, Maple Hill series, I recommend it. I had fun. I mean, I didn't like the first book that much, but I thought that like the second and the third book was fantastic. I mean, I would reread those at a later date. I don't think I would ever reread this one. This one was, I don't know, a little bit all over the place, but at the same time, it didn't go anywhere, I felt. Even though stuff happened, even though, something dramatic happened, blah, blah, blah. It just didn't go anywhere for me. But I did really enjoy the next two ones, so I actually highly recommend it as a series to read if you like sports romances and you still haven't read it. But I mean, most of you probably have. Most of you probably have. Okay. We're going to keep on in the sports romance category. The next one is The Striker. This one is by Ana Huang. This is in the God of Games series. Yeah, I didn't like it. The next one is The Defender, and it comes out in October. So far, like the expected date is October 28th. So it's an ongoing series. If you like thick sports romances that don't really go anywhere, this is perfect for you. But that's what I felt. I felt like Asha, who is the MMC, and Scarlett, is her name Scarlett? Her name is Scarlett, who is the FMC. I don't know. I didn't feel like they fit together. It just felt a little bit weird. It felt like it was all just mixed together because it sounded good, but when you taste it, you just go, ugh. And then you go, who put cinnamon in this? It's an acquired taste. Asha is the striker of a Premier League football. What will you say it? Well, it says here he is a living legend, the darling of the Premier League, and yeah. Okay, so he plays for a football team in the Premier League. He doesn't get along that good with his teammates, mostly because one of the other dudes don't really like him, and he's, I don't know, like the ringleader. And that also happens to be Scarlett's brother. So Scarlett automatically also doesn't like him when Asha and the brother gets told to do cross-training over the off-season. And that, of course, is for ballet. And I don't know if this is something they do. I don't know if they cross-train different things during their off-season. It's a fun concept. I would love to see, like Cristiano Ronaldo. I would love to see him dance ballet. But what do I know? This is almost 600 pages. Is it over 600? No, it's almost 600 pages, like 560 something pages. It's way too long. It's way too long. Nothing happens. I did not enjoy it. And at first, I thought it was because it was her first sports romance. Like, this isn't the genre she usually writes. She does write different romance books, but she doesn't really go into like the sports romance. So I thought that was the reason. And I was like, hey, I am going to try The Defender and hope that it kind of improves. But I did read a different series from her that we're going to talk about, and I'm not going to keep on reading this series. I don't know, if you want to get into sports romances, this one gives you a lot, but it gives you a lot of nothing as well. I can't really recommend it to someone. I was thinking about getting this for Christmas, for her birthday. I don't know. I was thinking of getting it for someone, either for Christmas or their birthday. And I'm so glad I didn't, because I wouldn't want to do this to them. I don't want to be mean, but I am being a little bit mean. I did not like it. It felt more like a debut novel, and this is not her debut novel. She has 3 of the series out. Then you have the next series from her. It's the Twisted series. So you have Twisted Love, Twisted Games, Twisted Hate, and Twisted Lies. This is the series that I was told several times that if I wanted to figure out if dark romance was for me, I should start with these, because all the men are morally grey and, it's a little bit more edgy. And in a sense, I get it, okay? Somebody looks wrongly at their girlfriend and they kill. Well, 2 of them do at least. But I don't know. It was still lacking something for me. I read all of them, hoping that it was just going to get better and better and better. And I was correct about The Striker, that The Striker was just because it was her first sports romance and it would get better. But I fear I was wrong. I fear I was deadly wrong. Like, very wrong. Because Twisted Love is about Alex and Ava, and I can sum that book up in a sentence, and that is, these people trauma bond. Both of them have trauma. You get to see part of their trauma, and you get to see them kind of connect over their trauma. You also get to see their trauma tear them apart. But it's a romance series. We all know what happens before the epilogue anyways. So, I don't know. I felt like it was a trauma bond. this is also going to get turned into a TV series, and all I could imagine, because they kept on telling us that Alex was stone-faced, like he didn't show any emotions. He didn't show what he wanted. He didn't, he didn't use his face, basically. It was just Botox. It was just sealed shot. Are we going to get like the Edward Cullen, like constipated face? Is that what we're in for? Are we in for a season where Alex just looks like he's not able to poop? Yeah, I'm very happy I put that image in your head, because I've been stuck with that image. I've been stuck with it. And also, I don't know, Ava was kind of boring. I didn't really like Ava. Then you went over to Twisted Games, which is about Reese and Bridget, and I thought that was a little bit more interesting. I thought this was a little bit more fun, and the reason for it was that it followed more of Bridget's story than of Reese's story, because Bridget is supposed to become queen in a made-up country in Europe, and Reese is her bodyguard. I felt like this was more, because we were following more of her story, you were seeing more, not necessarily from her perspective, because they're all dual point of view, but it just felt like because you were following her story, you were following what she was going through and how he supported her, and how kind of his own insecurities also came to light in it. It felt more sewn together story-wise. So I did enjoy this more. I did. Was it a fantastic book? No, I didn't. But at this point, I was like, this series can actually be good, I'm happy I read the first one. Also, this is definitely a series you have to read in order, because whenever something happens at the end of the first book, they start the second book where it ends, which I find completely fine because you read it from a completely different point of view. Then you get part of the storyline in book 3 again, and you also get part of the storyline in the fourth book. So I would recommend reading them in order if you would want to read them. But yeah, I had high hopes. This one made me have even higher hopes. It's Twisted Hate. This one is about Jules and Josh is Ava's big brother. Oh, Alex is also Josh's best friend. So, keep it in the family, I guess. This is the one I like the most. They had history, they had banter, they were arguing, it was tension, and I was like, hey, this is actually turning out to be a pretty okay series. I am very happy I read it. And I've been told that the last one is the best book of them all, so I was very happy. This one, just a little bit too long for me. There were some plots in here that I didn't really feel like needed to be there. It felt like part of her story was there just to make him morally grey, because he's a doctor. It's kind of like a joke that, he helps you keep your life or gives you life, while some of the other ones, take life. I feel like the storyline was there just to make him morally grey, just to make him more of a villain. Personally, I didn't like it. You could have kept him a good guy and it would still be a good book. But this one also felt like just a teeny tiny little bit too long for me. It's a little bit over 500 pages. And I feel like there's at least 100 pages in here that I just didn't need. Twisted Games gave me high hopes for the series because I enjoyed Twisted Games. I liked Twisted Hate. So I was like, hey, maybe I'll really enjoy this one. Maybe this is the one that's gonna, send me over the edge and really enjoy this series and make it all worth it. But no. Every time I met Stella in the other books, because, the 4 people are best friends, the 4 girls are best friends, I found her to be incredibly boring. And I was hoping that it was just not her personality shining through, like I feel like Jules's personality kind of shined through in the other books. I was hoping that Stella's was just not shining through, but it was just so boring. Her main focus in this book is to get 1 million Instagram followers. And yes, it is for a good reason, but still, it's weird. And Christian Harper, I don't see the appeal. I'm sorry. If he's like your dream man, I'm sorry. I don't see the appeal. I thought he was also incredibly boring. I felt like he was a stalker, but it was okay because he's hot. I didn't like it. It was so boring. That I got through it even is insane. It's over 550 pages. The only reason I was like, I'm going to finish it because I wanted to make a reading vlog out of all 4 books. When I was done talking about all 4 books, I had like 10 minutes 10 minutes on 4 books. In my mind, they were just boring. Yeah, the men are a little bit morally grey, but they're also just a little bit weird. I don't feel, especially the things that he does to show that he loves her, they're just weird. I didn't like it. 10 out of 10 would not recommend reading the series. If I could, I would wait for the TV show. I would 100% wait for the TV show and just pray to God that we get past Alex and Ava and they make it interesting, because except for Jules, all of the girls are kind of like mid-tier. There's nothing. I mean, Bridget is going to become queen. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, but there's not really that much interesting about them. Jules is just fun because Jules is funny. Like Jules is snappy, you know, and that's what I like. The rest of them are just kind of boring, and the men are also a little bit boring. Sorry to say. So no, I would not recommend reading this series. And because I read the entire series, like I said, I don't think I'm going to read The Defender. I think I'm actually done with Anna Huang as an author. And that makes me a little bit sad because I thought I was really going to like her. I thought she was straight up my alley when it comes to writing romance books, but apparently no. Then we're going to go to a series that's not completely finished yet. There's 2 books missing, but both of them are coming out this year. And that is the Dream Harbor series. Are they upside down again? Crap. The Dream Harbor series. You have the first book, which is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and then you have The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. Then you go over to The Christmas Tree Farm. These are cozy mystery romances. I think that's kind of the genre people are putting them under, because every single one of them have like a little thing they need to figure out, but it doesn't take over the story. You know, in some of them, I feel like it's just there to give it a plot, because they kind of forget about it. And then it pops up again. And they're like, oh my, yeah, that's true. We were going to, especially in this one, they mentioned the mystery at the start. And then it pops up again at the end, probably because you need to tie up some loose ends. And they didn't want to get shit-faced. Well, they probably wanted to get shit-faced, but they didn't want to get shit on like they did in this one. But we are, of course, going to start with the first one, which is the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. You have probably seen it all over your TikTok. You have probably seen it all over your Reels, YouTube Shorts, whatever content you get your book information from. This is about Jeannie. I think her name is Jeannie, actually, not Janie. I think it's Jeannie and Logan. And she inherits the Pumpkin Spice Cafe from her aunt. And Logan delivers produce to the shop. I even marked some stuff in here. Should we see what I've marked? No, I have a sticky note over it. I don't want to move the sticky note, because the sticky notes don't usually stick that good. Here we have one. Janie had known her for less than a week, but the woman always seemed to be in the middle of a conversation Janie had no idea they'd been having. Oh, I know that feeling. These books are kind of dual POV, but it's third person, so I sometimes got a little bit confused of who we're following, but that's, a me problem, not a book problem. Like I said, it's about Janie and it's about Logan. Logan delivers the produce to the cafe that Janie inherits, and you get to follow along on their love story and the little mystery. The mystery is bigger in this one, I feel, than in the 2 other ones, but it's very cozy, cute. I feel like they say the spice is very spicy, but in my mind, compared to the other books I've read, this is very mild. So like if you've read the Twisted series and you think the spice is fine, this is definitely fine. I've heard people compare it to Gilmore Girls fanfic in a way. I've never watched Gilmore Girls, so I don't really know. But it's a small town, it's like, a close-knitted community. And that's when we go over to the bookstore and we meet Hazel. And Hazel works at the bookstore. And Noah likes to go in and buy books. But actually what he likes is Hazel. But Hazel's like, no, we can't do that. You're too young for me. I think he's a little bit younger than her. And I have to say, this was my favorite out of them. I love this book. Hazel kind of has like an early midlife crisis in a way. She's like, I haven't really done anything with my life. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to keep on doing what I'm doing? I don't really know. I'm confused. And Noah's like, chill, bestie. I got you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to, I don't know, give you an orgasm, which he does, by the way. Spoiler alert, it says on the back that it has like 4 spices. I don't know out of what, because this is, in my mind, also not that spicy. The other series I read, more spicy. So now you know. if you don't like spice at all, maybe step away from these or skip the spicy scenes. Noah, you know actually already in this one that Noah has a crush on Hazel. I loved this book. I ate it up. I read it in a day, and I usually don't do that. I usually need like 2 or 3 days. Even if I really enjoy the book, I still read it over several days. I sat down, it was a Saturday or a Sunday, and I devoured it. I laid in bed, I got out to pee and eat, and I went back in bed and I kept on reading. That is how much I enjoyed this book. I have a reading vlog out of them, so if I remember, I'll just post it right here if you want to go and watch it, so you can get a little bit more in depth of it. But yeah, I loved it. The only thing is that in this one, I think it was supposed, because they changed the name, I think it was supposed to be a spring book, but they changed it to go with the fall theme, and the timeline doesn't really match up always. Because they mention a timeline, then they mention the timeline again, but it doesn't match up, and then they mention the timeline again. So it feels like it was supposed to be rewritten as a fall book, but it gives spring vibes. But yeah, that's it. Then you go over. This is definitely a Christmas book, okay? I also have a reading vlog out on this one, so if you want to watch it, you know, feel free to do so. This one is about Kira. I think her name is Kira. Her name is Kira, and Bennett. Bennett is Janie's, still butchering it, a brother, and he's only here for the holidays because he can work from home, okay? She bought the Christmas tree farm, but in the second book, she comes into like a town hall meeting and goes, I'm not opening it. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye. And she walks out again, and people are like, oh my God, no, we're not going to have a Christmas. Oh my God, what are we going to do? But then she realizes she has to open it one last time because she needs money, basically. And I feel like the way they meet is pretty cute, you know, and I don't know, I really enjoyed it. It was a nice Christmas read. I don't know if I'm going to reread it for Christmas. It might not be my favorite Christmas read, but I did really enjoy it. I did. I had so much fun. And this one is going to have 2 more books come out, and one of them is actually coming out in March. And according to Goodreads, it's coming out on the 13th. Yeah, according to Goodreads and according to Amazon, because I checked both. It's going to come out on the 13th of March. So like, you know, I don't know when I'm posting this. In a few days, so it's right around the corner, one way or the other, you know. So that's the 4th book. And the 5th book is going to come out on... Goodreads says September 16th, but Amazon says September 11th. So sometime in September. And I'm guessing they are going to follow the timeline as well. So the one that's coming out now in March, I'm guessing it's going to be set over spring. And that is also a single dad, which I eat up. I love a good single dad. It's a single dad nanny, if I remember correctly. And the last one that's going to come out, it's about Mac and Annie. And you meet them in these books, and they have like a complete feud going. So it's enemies to lovers, the last one. So there's 5 books in this series total. I mean, you could read it now, because you could always just skip and read the Christmas one later. But you can also wait until the entire series is out, and then you can just read them in whatever order you want to. Talking about good single dads, the Rosehill series by Elsie Silver. There's 2 books out. As I'm recording this, by the time you guys see this, the 3rd book is already out. So you have Wild Love, then you have Wild Eyes, and on the 4th of March. Amazon says 4th of March, so we're going to stick to that one. 4th of March, we're going to get Wild Side, and there's going to be 4 books in total, all of them about single dads. This one is about Ford. Ford becomes a single dad in a very non-traditional way. I'm not going to spoil how, but I did enjoy it. Ford hires Rosie, and Rosie is his best friend's little sister. You can also read between the lines that Ford is he's just utterly in love with her. And I adore it. I adore it. She shows him stuff from her diary that she wrote when she was a kid. And it's just so much tension. And it's a fantastic book. I love Elsie Silver. I love it. I actually just started Chestnut Spring series. That's why that's not going to be in here, because I haven't read all of it. But yeah, Single Dad, like I said, is about Ford and Rosie. Rosie does a typical Hallmark thingy. She moves to the big city with a boyfriend. She gets a job. Something happens at the job. She loses said job. She moves back home. Ford hires her because Ford runs a recording company, and he's also a billionaire. So, you know, he can afford it. And then you get to see their love basically blossom, and I love it. And you also get to see him become a dad in a very untraditional way. You get to see the love he has for the people around him. You get to see her also show a lot of love without realizing that she does. And I love that. This is like, I started the year reading this one. I started the year with a 5-star read for me. That's not normal, at least not for me. I loved it. I loved it so much actually that I just dived straight on into this one because I got them both for Christmas. And this one is about Rosie's big brother, Weston. I think his name is Weston. His name is Weston. Can't remember if they call him Wes or West, but Weston. And it's about Skylar. Skylar just randomly shows up into town one day and goes, "Hey bestie," to Ford because she wants to record an album there. Just forgot to tell Ford that she was going to show up. They don't have housing for her, so they're like, "Hey, do you know where you can live?" Next door. Because Rosie's brother lives next door. So you can just live with him. It's fine while we get everything set up, you know? Get cozy, get to know the town. Have a dip in the lake. I don't really know. And then you get to see them, you know, write their own love story. Wes is also a single dad, as you know. They're in a single dad bowling group, team, single dad bowling team. They're in a single dad bowling team. So we know who their third book is going to be about because you meet him in the second book, and she hasn't told us who the last book is going to be about. She's just told us that it's going to be one of two characters. I love it so much. The storyline, especially like in this one, it's just fantastic. It's fantastic. This one has a little bit of trauma in it, so I would recommend checking the trigger warnings before you dive into it. But this is like, if I'm going to recommend a series and you do like single dads, please just, oh my God, just read it. Just read it and message me and we can fangirl together because it's fantastic and I love it and I love it so much. These are books that I'm definitely going to reread again at some point. And that's a sentence I never thought I was going to say because I'm not a big rereader. I've always been in the mindset of why would I reread something when there's so many good books out there that I haven't read yet. We have another one that's not completely finished. It's the Windy City series. This one is missing one book and that's going to come out in May 20th. So you have Mile High, you have Play Along, you have Caught Up, and you have The Right Move. That's the wrong order. We're going to try again. We have Mile High, we have The Right Move, we have Caught Up, and then we have Play Along. Yes, that's the order. That is the order that they're in. It starts with, like I said, it starts with Mile High. This is similar to Sanders and Stevie. This is people's least favorite book in the series. I personally loved it. I devoured it. My mind, Sanders can do nothing wrong, but I know people don't like it, and that's fine. I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But please read the rest of them, please. For me, please, bestie. Sanders is a hockey player, but he's not the captain, okay? He's best friends with the captain, and the captain is very nice. It's very nice. And Stevie is a flight attendant. She is hired to be a flight attendant on the flight that they take whenever they are at an away game. Away game. That was very hard for me to say. Whenever they are at an away game. Nailed it. Sanders sees her and kind of just starts fucking with her. But she's not allowed to fraternize with the team. So she's very, very focused on not doing that because she doesn't want to lose her job. This one also has like a little bit of trauma, especially between like mother and daughter. So I probably would also check that up a little bit. I don't know does it have any trigger warnings to start out with? It only says to my mom. That's interesting. No, it has a playlist. That's it. This is the first book though. So it's a sports romance series, but the entire series has different sports. So this one is baseball. This one is about Ryan and Indy. Ryan is Stevie's brother. Indy needs a place to live for whatever reason. You'll figure it out when you read the book. And Stevie literally gets Ryan to take her in because she's like, that's my best friend and you better be nice to her. His inner monologue in this one is just fantastic. I giggled, I laughed, I had a blast. Also her, the way she acts, the way she responds, it's just fantastic. I adore them. I adore them as a couple. And if you do not want to read Mile High, I would definitely say start with this one because it's fantastic. It's fantastic. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Then you have Caught Up. This is the third book in the series. This one is a single dad. Yeah, you heard me correctly. Can you guess? Can you guess if I like it or not? Can you guess it? Guess. I do. This is about Kai, and it is about Miller. Miller is a pastry chef. She's fantastic. Then she has, I don't know, brain rot, creative block, whatever you want to call it. And she's like, can't do it anymore. hey dad, can I go on tour with you guys? And he is a baseball coach where Kai plays, like the team he plays baseball for. Kai, like I said, is a single dad and he keeps on firing his nannies. So the only way Mila could go on the road with her dad, because they have like a family rule, was to be the babysitter of Kai's kid. And I love it. I loved it. I loved it. I could see the third act breakup from a mile away. Like starting the book, you could see that you could see it on the horizon. You could see the third act breakup. I still cried like a little bitch. Like I cried. Like Tom came into the bedroom and he wondered who died. That's how hard this book made me cry, even though I knew what was going to happen. But I loved it. I loved it. And it just made me so happy to jump into this one, play along. This one is actually about Kai's brother, Isaiah, and Kennedy. Kennedy is a doctor. She's supposed to be like a team doctor. But, you know, a man decided that she couldn't be a team doctor for a male team. That's the word. So they just put her to do something that, you know, is kind of below her, not necessarily pay grade, but what she can do. But she does it. Because if she doesn't do it, you know, who else is going to hire her? I think that's kind of the mentality around it. This one is fake marriage. It's marriage of convenience, whatever you want to call it. They get married by a mistake. And I love it. I love it. The way Isaiah does stuff and you figure out like this is what he's doing. This is as she figures this out. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. Only thing was I listened to the audiobook for this one as well. And every time the dude laughed, because I felt like he laughed a lot. It was like, you know, one of those, I don't know, I want to say fake dudes on TikTok. The one that goes, and I was like, dude, you do not need to do that in my ear. It's fine. But the book is fantastic. The book is fantastic. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, so you have Marriage of Convenience. You have Single Dad. This one is actually fake dating. I forgot to say that. They start fake dating. It's fantastic. I love it. And I don't know what trope this is. This is just Sanders being an idiot, but we love him either way. Because it's Sanders, and I love it. Then you have Lights Out. This is the Into the Darkness series. The way a man in a mask named Josh made me giggle, kick my feet, laugh out loud. It shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't be allowed. Oh my God. I adore this man. Adore him, I tell you. He's fantastic. This one is about Josh, and it's about Ali. Ali is a trauma nurse, and the way she unwinds when she comes home from a longer shift or, you know, a heavier shift is by watching Masked Men on, well, their Instagram, TikTok, whatever she scrolls. And Josh just happens to be one of these masked men. She gets a little bit drunk one night, well, a little bit tipsy. She messages her booty call with a screenshot of Josh's video being like, hey, would you want to do this? And the booty call is like, I haven't heard from you in like God knows how long. I thought you were dead. No, thank you. But Josh sees the message. He knows it's him. And he also knows who Ali is. So what does he do? What does he do? The only reasonable thing you can do when you're good with a computer and you know how to do shit, he stalks her, as you should. This is a dark romance, so the stalking is fine. This one is so funny. Like the audiobook for this one as well, 10 out of 10. Even though I did enjoy the book, I did read it and I did listen to the audiobook simultaneously. But the audiobook is also fantastic. Even though it's a darker romance, I would say that this is it's in the lighter category because it's funny, it's witty, you know, it's when shit goes down, you know, Josh doesn't really feel well. And I love it. I love it. I love you. And this is the first one in the series as well. I'm not sure if it's going to be 3 or 4 books. I'm not really completely sure how many there's going to be in this series. But the next one is coming out in June 10th, according to Amazon. And I am obsessed because you get to meet the next male character in this book, and I also found him to be very funny. So I have high hopes. I have very, very high hopes. This is a series I would jump on straight away. If you want a series that you know can stretch over time because all the books are not out yet, I would definitely hit up this one. Definitely. If you just want like a simple romance single dad, hit up this one. Or if you want sports romances, I would recommend this one in front of the other ones. Those are the romance series that I've either finished or I'm in the middle of. Thank you guys so much for spending some of your precious time with me. I really, really do appreciate it. And I will catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.